Ever played dodgeball growing up as a kid? Makes me nostalgic. A game loved by many kids growing up. It's always been one of the most popular intramural sports, a game of competition, a game that teaches coordination, dexterity. Yet another school board has banned dodgeball. The overactive educrats in New Hampshire this time deciding in their infinite wisdom, dodgeball encourages bullying. Could it be true? A few years ago, the comedy Dodgeball explored this idea with this mock educational video.
Thanks, Patches. I can't wait to start my own team at school.
Atta boy, Tiger. But remember, dodgeball is a sport of violence, exclusion, and degradation. So, when you're picking players in gym class, remember to pick the bigger, stronger kids for your team. That way, you can all gang up on the weaker ones, like Winston here.
No one can dispute that some kids lack agility, that they have physical limitations, but claiming that this pseudo sport is a petri dish for bullying? How ridiculous does it get? Check out this footage, the world's record biggest dodgeball game of all time, thousands of participants, everyone having a grand old time. Why? Because competition is fun. But instead, the educrats in New Hampshire, as usual, obsess with worry, pushing politically correct nonsense that's attempting to force all kids into the same little box, blanketing them in bubble wrap at the same time, not letting some kids be better than others at different stuff because it might cause some hurt feelings. It's a phenomenon that's bigger than dodgeball. We've seen tag, Red Rover, even balls themselves banned from playgrounds for all of the above-mentioned stupid reasons. My reaction to all this is to play the classic clip from the Iron Lady herself, the great Margaret Thatcher.
We're all unequal. No one, thank heavens, is quite like anyone else, however much the socialists may pretend otherwise. And we believe that everyone has the right to be unequal. But to us, every human being is equally important.
The right to be unequal. Folks, we as a society are on the verge of protecting our kids into incompetence. For more, we turn to a man who's probably taken a few dodgeballs to the noggin in his time and still ended up okay. David Menzies, the host of Menzoid Mornings. My friend, you are okay.
Dodgeball, nothing. In my day, we called it murder ball. Could you imagine going on a schoolyard today and using the M word? I mean, you'd be brought into sensitivity training.
No, can't. Let's just, as I sometimes say on this show, I'm just asking for crumbs. I'm asking for some dodgeball. But, you know, one of the reasons I wanted to play Margaret Thatcher is because Margaret Thatcher actually believed in individuality, didn't just pay lip service to it, believed in it. Individuality, uniqueness, specialness, if you will. And her opponents and many of these politically correct people, they just don't believe in individuality. They want everyone sort of having exactly the same look, exactly the same feelings, exactly the same rhetoric. It's the stuff that Orwell used to frighten us about. I mean, Orwell has come to pass.
You know, Charles, I don't think even Orwell ever dreamed of this. There's a couple of disturbing trends in schools across North America. One is this idea of, well, you know what? We don't want, for usually liability reasons, any child getting a skinned shin even. So, as you said in your preamble, forget about murder ball, dodgeball. We'll just ban all balls, Nerf balls, tennis balls, you name it. And, you know, this is usually based on a legal opinion. Once upon a time, Charles, we had school board, people, we had principals that would say to the lawyers, thank you for your advice, but you know what, we're going to risk it. Now we have wimps. We just have pure wimps running this school board. And forget about the physicality. It's morphed into the classroom. Now, so many school boards have a no-fail policy, Charles.
Now, look, the role model principal, vice principal is a wimp. And here's what bugs me the most, because I don't want to pretend to care a whole lot about them. To me, it's about the kids. The role model kids are now wimps. I mean, they're the ones who are put out there as the ultimate. And my question is, Who wants to follow that? What is there to follow?
You know what, Charles? It's amazing that given all this playground policing, where some schools, what you do at recess, and I'm not kidding, I'm not making this up, the policy is you walk and talk, just like a prison yard. You can't, no tag, no running, no skipping, no hopscotch. You walk in a circle and talk. And what I find amazing is that in this climate, we are still able to produce some people that go on to become professional athletes. And by the way, Charles, I got to tell you this. One of the U.S. agencies was coming out last month with nutrition guidelines for children. And I saw something I've never seen before in a category. It was asking the child to check off, are you extremely active, somewhat active, or third, sedentary? These are children. Who's sedentary? I thought we cured polio. We got kids in iron lungs still. I mean, come on.
It's horrible. All right, Menzoid, I'm always worried when anything happens in Ontario because it happens to be in the center of the country, and if government passes something there, all kinds of other governments want to copy. And so I was worried when the Ontario Soccer Association banned scoring for young people, all right, in soccer, that others would want to follow. So Alberta's considering it, and God bless the parents of Alberta saying, no, you know what? We want competition. That's what's right. No competition, no scoring is wrong. And the kids have fun being competitive. Go.
You know what, Charles? This is part of a problem, especially in soccer. No scoring, no championship final, no championship trophies. Everybody, no matter if you're 25-0 or 0-25, you line up and you get a little medal and it says participant. And you know what? We think kids are dumb. Kids are smarter than we think they are. They realize such a medal is worthless. It is valueless. And, you know, I did a story on this a while back, and I went to a York kinesiology professor to get his take on it. And he said, this is an awful policy. We are getting away from the idea of teaching our children that there is no such thing as learning from a losing experience. In other words, there is no shame, Charles, in honest defeat. If you lose by a goal in that championship final, heck, if you get blown out 10-0, you pick yourself up and you try harder, you be smarter next time. But when there's no scores, no standings, no championship games, no playoffs, what is the incentive to do that? It is an absolutely ghastly policy, and shame on anyone involved in organized soccer for inflicting the kids with this.
Well, every achiever knows that it's only when you make mistakes that you humble up and step up your game. But that's what achievers know. And the last thing these pseudo-egalitarians want, these Orwellians want, is achievement. Because achievement is special. Achievement indicates uniqueness, specialness. They don't like that. Well, I guess nobody ever made them feel special. David, I want to thank you very much for this. I'll see you on the radio Friday and see you back here next Monday.
Always a pleasure, boss. Thank you.
And you can always watch Menzoid on Menzoid Mornings, early mornings here on the Sun News Network.